I don't want fame, I want her. Jerry Yang rejects major role to stay with Tong Liya. The entertainment industry is in complete disbelief today as multiple sources confirm that Jerry Yang, beloved actor and heartthrob of millions, has officially turned down the lead role in a multi-million-dollar international series, not for another opportunity, but to stay by Tong Liya's side as she continues recovering after a life-threatening complication during pregnancy. The script was said to be groundbreaking. The director? Oscar-nominated. The shooting location? Paris, London, and Cape Town. The paycheck? Enough to secure a lifetime of financial comfort. But Jerry Yang's answer, according to an insider? I don't want fame. I want her. And just like that, the man who once ruled red carpets and TV dramas walked away from the biggest opportunity of his career because one woman and one fragile moment changed everything. The phone call that shook him. Tong Liya had just been moved to the recovery ward after a complicated emergency delivery that left her unconscious for over 8 hours. Jerry had been by her side every second, whispering, pacing, praying. But just as doctors said she was stabilizing, his phone rang. It was his agent. The call he had waited 3 years for. Paris wants you. You're their first choice, she said breathlessly. You'd be filming with names like Theron, Pitt, and Chalamet. Jerry closed his eyes. Tong Liya stirred in the hospital bed, tube still in her arm. The steady beeping of her heart monitor sounded like a slow-ticking clock. I can't leave her, he said quietly. You don't have to decide now, the agent pleaded. She nearly died, he replied. I already did. He hung up without another word. The media storm that followed. The news broke within hours. Headlines exploded. Jerry Yang walks away from Hollywood project. Why? Tong Liya's hospital stay tied to actor's career decision. From idol to caregiver, is Jerry Yang done with fame? At first, his team declined to comment. Tong Liya's condition remained fragile, and he was fiercely protective. But fans and reporters swarmed the hospital, begging for answers. His silence only fed the fire. Until one video leaked. The clip that broke the internet. A nurse, unaware her camera was still recording, captured Jerry seated beside Tong Liya, her hand cradled in both of his, tears in his eyes. I should be on a plane to Paris right now, he whispered to her sleeping form. But I'd rather be here. With you. Always with you. The clip, just 32 seconds long, went viral in under an hour. I don't want fame, I want her trended worldwide. People reposted it with their own stories. Couples reunited. Breakups were reversed. Even celebrities shared the clip with captions like, "This is what love looks like." Her first words after waking up. 2 days later, Tong Liya opened her eyes. Her lips were dry, voice weak. Where's Jerry?" she murmured. He rushed in, unshaven, red-eyed, and trembling. He fell to his knees beside her. "I'm here. I'm right here, baby," he said, gripping her fingers. Tears streamed down her cheeks. "I thought you'd be gone, for your film." He shook his head, laughing softly through tears. "There's no film without you. You're my story now." The producer's statement. For a week, producers remained quiet, stunned that their top choice had turned down the lead just days before contract signing. But eventually, they spoke out. "Jerry Yang is one of the most dedicated professionals we've ever worked with," said the executive producer. "His decision was personal. We respect it deeply. And honestly, we wish more men in our industry had his kind of heart." Fans show up in unexpected ways. Outside the hospital, fans created a wall of handwritten notes. Some read, "You chose love over legacy. That makes you a legend. Real men don't just fight dragons. They stay when it's hardest. Thank you for showing us what devotion looks like." One fan, a young mother with a newborn, drove 7 hours to tape a tiny pink pair of baby shoes to the hospital gate. "This is for your little girl," she said in a live video. "Because she has the kind of father the world needs more of." Jerry's first public statement. 3 weeks after the incident, Jerry Yang released a short but powerful post on social media. "I've played many heroes. But none compare to the woman lying beside me now. I didn't give up anything. I gained everything. She survived. Our daughter is alive. That's all I need. Thank you for understanding. And thank you for letting me disappear for a while. I'm right where I need to be. The whispered engagement rumors. Tong Liya was later seen wearing a simple diamond ring during her quiet stroll through the hospital garden, aided by Jerry's arm around her. No public proposal was announced. No press release followed. But close friends claim he whispered the words while they watched their baby sleep in her crib for the first time. She almost left me twice. I'm never letting her go again. I don't need a camera to feel alive. A famous director, who worked with Jerry in the past, posted a cryptic message days later. He told me, I've been in front of cameras for 20 years. But I never felt more alive than holding her hand in that ICU room. I'll never forget that. The man who chose love in the age of noise. In a time when careers are built on clickbait, followers, and carefully curated fame, Jerry Yang chose silence and presence. He chose her over cameras. He chose family over a red carpet. He chose staying when leaving would have made headlines. And that choice, it didn't dim his star. It made him immortal in the eyes of fans, friends, and the woman he calls home. The night he burnt the script. The hospital lights buzzed faintly overhead. It was just past 1 a.m., and the hallway outside Tong Liya's private room had finally gone quiet. Security had reinforced the doors after a swarm of fans and paparazzi had tried to sneak in that afternoon. But inside room 408, it was just Jerry, Liya, and their newborn daughter who slept peacefully in her bassinet, her tiny breaths soft and rhythmic. Jerry sat beside Tong Liya, his hand tracing the outline of her fingers. He hadn't left the hospital in 4 days. His clothes were wrinkled, his hair disheveled, and he hadn't touched his phone except to check messages from her doctors. But the envelope was still there on the table. Thick, official, cold. The contract. The one that could have changed his career, but at the cost of walking away when she needed him most. He picked it up slowly, staring at the golden emblem of the studio. He remembered how it had once made his heart race with excitement. Now, it made his chest ache. He took a lighter from his bag. It was meant for candle aromatherapy, not this. And then, with one flick, he lit the bottom edge. The paper curled, blackened, and crumbled onto a ceramic plate. Tong Liya stirred awake just in time to see the last ashes fall. Jerry, she whispered weakly. He turned. It's gone. For good. She blinked. The contract. He nodded. They can keep their fame. I already have everything I want. The management meltdown. Hours later, Jerry stepped into the hospital courtyard to take a call, not because he wanted to, but because it was his manager, Xiao Yun, and she had called 17 times. You did what? Her voice exploded through the line before he could speak. Yun, You burned the contract. Are you out of your mind? Do you even know how much money you just threw away? You could have bought Tong Liya a hospital. He pinched the bridge of his nose. She almost died, Yun. I can't leave her. Not now. Not ever again. There was a pause. Then, softer, Jerry. I get it. But people wait years for an offer like this. What if she wants you to work again someday and you have nothing left? Jerry looked up at Tong Liya's window. A warm light still glowed. Then I'll write my own stories, he said. She gave me a reason to stop pretending. I'm not chasing cameras anymore. I'm chasing us. The line went dead. He didn't call back. The scene that left fans shaken. That evening, a nurse wheeled Tong Liya out to the rooftop garden for fresh air. The doctors had finally cleared her for a few minutes under the sky. She wore a pale pink scarf, her skin still weak but her eyes brighter than they had been in weeks. Jerry followed behind with their daughter in his arms. He didn't say anything. He just stood behind her chair, letting the breeze sweep over the three of them. That's when a paparazzi drone buzzed nearby, its red light blinking, hovering close. Without hesitation, Jerry placed the baby in Liya's lap and climbed up on the ledge. Back off, he shouted at the drone, arms out. This is our moment. Leave it alone. The drone faltered, then dropped and crashed as security swatted it out of the air. One of the nurses caught the moment on video. Fans later dubbed it the rooftop vow. The letter he never mailed. Later that night, after Liya had drifted off to sleep, Jerry sat at the foot of her bed with a pen in hand and wrote something he never intended to send but needed to say. To the directors, producers, and all the cameras waiting for me. Thank you for your belief in me. But I'm no longer interested in playing roles. I've found one I was born for, being hers. A real one. A hard one. The one that doesn't win awards, but wins hearts. If you want to see my best performance, you won't find it on screen. You'll find it in this room where I learned what courage, fear, and love really feel like. I didn't walk away from the industry. I walked toward something bigger. Something sacred. Her name is Tong Liya. And she saved me the moment I thought I had everything. He folded the letter, kissed the top corner, and slid it into her drawer. Whispers of a documentary. Rumors have begun to circulate that a director who once worked with Jerry is interested in turning this period of his life into a documentary, with Tong Liya's recovery, their quiet hospital nights, and his now famous rooftop shout as the centerpiece. But Jerry has declined every inquiry so far. No, he reportedly said. This part of my life. It's just for us. An unplanned wedding night? 3 nights later, hospital staff claimed to have heard soft violin music echoing through the East Wing. Curious, one nurse peeked in and froze. Jerry had dimmed the lights. A string quartet played from a phone speaker. Tong Liya sat up in bed, her hair brushed out, eyes glistening. He held her hand, smiling through the candlelight. We never got to dance, he said softly. She blinked. Dance? He nodded. Not on a set. Not for fans. Just you and me. Then, right there, in the middle of her recovery room, Jerry lifted her slowly from the bed, cradling her weight with one arm, and they swayed gently to a soft classical piece. Her head rested on his shoulder. It wasn't a performance. It was a promise.